Hey there, this is BK from CocoZini. I hope everyone is okay and safe. Today's video is on this beautiful maxi dress, which is very simple and easy to make. I will show you how to make it. And in order to make this beautiful maxi dress, this video is going to be divided into two sections. The first section is going to be how to draft it, and the second section is going to be sewing the dress. So let's get started. If you are new to this channel, thank you for stopping by today. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for stopping by. Go ahead and grab a tank top and a tracing paper. So we are going to trace that tank on the paper. Make sure you look for a tank top that has a little bit of ease in it. The one I have has a very tiny strap and I don't want that. So what I'm doing is I got a dress that is a little fitted with a little ease in it and has a little bit of a shoulderless. So sleeveless, I would say. So I'm going to trace it out and I'm only going to use the front part of the dress. So I'm going to trace out only the front part of the dress, like so. So I'm just kind of folding out the front and the front neck part, and I'm going to just trace it out all the way down. So I will just take the dress out here and square out the bottom part like so. So I'm not sure if it's very clear enough for you to see. So I will just use a marker to trace it out so it's clear enough to see exactly what I'm doing here. And I'm done tracing it. You're going to go ahead and measure the bottom part of the bodice and you're going to divide it by 3. So assume you got 9, then you divide 9 by 3. You're going to go ahead and mark 3 inches each. So whatever amount I got there, I already divided it by 3 and I'm marking out the amount on there like I'm doing right now. So when you're done marking this out, you're going to rule a line on each of that mark that you just did. So you're going to rule a line all the way up like I did there. Then you go to the other mark too, and you're going to go ahead and rule another line all the way to the top. What we'll be doing is we'll be cutting through these lines all the way to the top without cutting through. So I am done marking all this. I'm just going to remark it with a marker so you can see clearly what I did. I don't know why I didn't use a marker initially. But anyways, yes. So I'm marking it with a marker so it will be so clear for you to see what I did here. Then I'm going to go ahead and take out my weight. So those are washers, guys, and I got it from Home Depot. So here is what it looks like after I got done adding the line to it. Okay, so I'm going to cut out those lines without cutting through. I'll show you how to do it when I get to that part. Go ahead and cut out your bodice from the drafting paper like I'm doing right now. Okay, I am done cutting out the bodice. So here's my bodice and here's what it looked like. And I'm just going to use this washer to just hold it down so it wouldn't move. Then I'm going to use my scissors to cut those lines like I've been saying for the past maybe 1 or 2 minutes. I'm going to cut it like this. Just watch out what I'm going to do here, because we'll be spreading out this bodice on another tracing paper. So, and in order to do that, we have to cut these two lines. So I'm cutting it out without cutting it through. So I'm just going to stand there leaving a little itty bitty space, maybe like a quarter of an inch or one eighth of an inch. I'm going to do the same to this other line too. So I am done cutting this other line too, and I left a little space at the top, like an eighth of an inch. So I'm going to get a drafting paper and I'm going to place this bodice on top of a new drafting paper. So here is what we're going to do. So we're going to make, we're going to open up the bodice with 2 inches allowance in between, like so. Actually, I did 2.5 inches. So depending on how flare you want your maxi dress to be. If you want it to be very full, then you may add up to 3. If you want it to be less full, you may add like 2 or 1.5. But I added 2.5 to mine. So I'm spreading it that way, and I'm going to measure 2.5 inches, and I'm just joining those lines together because I still have to trace out the borders. So right now what I'm doing is I'm tracing it out all the way around using the new space measurement that I just did. And I am done, excuse me, tracing it out. So this is the bodice that we're going to use for the maxi dress. When you have this, you can either cut 4 of this, or you can cut it unfold, or cut 2 unfold. So here I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. Then you see exactly what it looks like. My cutting table is not long enough to accommodate my maxi dress, so I'm just using something else. I'm sorry if the video here it's not going to be too clear. So I have placed it on the table, folded into 2, and I have also placed the bodice that we just drafted on top of it. So I marked out how long I want my fabric to be, or my maxi dress to be. So I'm going to just use my yardstick to do a pivoting all around there, all the way to the end of the bodice, pivoting the full measurement of how long the maxi dress is. What I'm doing is I use my yardstick starting from the bottom of the bodice, and I'm also going to add a seam allowance when I'm cutting it out. So what I did is I used my yardstick for the extra part under the bodice, and I keep pivoting and marking all the way to the end of the bodice. I'm sorry I couldn't do a better view of this. So I have gone ahead and I have cut out the fabric, and here's what it looks like. So I cut mine on fold, and I also added 1 inch seam allowance at the hem of it. So if you want to cut, you can cut 4 of this, or you just cut it unfold. I cut my unfold, so I just cut 2 unfold. So now we have to get back to the sewing. I'm going to add a facing to the maxi dress. So in order to get the amount of the facing that I'm going to use, I'm just going to use my tape to measure the round of the neck. And I'm going to do the same thing to the armhole. Or another way that you can do this is to place the material on fold and place your neck on top of it, then trace it out with 1 inch wideness. So I have measured mine and I'm just going to multiply whatever I get using that tape measure. I'm going to multiply it by 2. So that will give me a whole roundness of either the neck or the armhole. So I'm just going to cut a straight facing using the measurement that I get and 1 inch. Okay, so when you're cutting your facing, make sure you use the part that is not stretchy. I did my cutting on the bias. Instead of cutting on the stretchy part, I'm going to cut it on bias. So I already cut out the facing for the neck, and it's just one straight line by 1 inch. And I cut out for the armhole too. So I'm cutting 2 each for the back neck and the front neck, the right armhole and the left armhole. I will be adding pocket to my maxi dress. I have a pocket pattern that you can print out. I'm going to leave a link below if you want to download it and use it. I always use that for my pocket. So I cut out 2 pockets for the right side and the left side. So you're going to need 4 pieces of fabric for that, right side facing each other. But if you don't want to use that pattern pocket, you can just easily just trace your own pocket by yourself, easy. So just lay your hand on the fabric with right side facing each other and just trace it out just like I just did. Then I'm just going to use the marking paper to trace it out that way. Then I'm just going to cut it out, and that's an easy way to make a pocket. Okay, so now we need to start joining our fabrics, but I'm going to start with the pockets. So grab your bodice and open up the right side of your bodice. First, you're going to measure where you want your pocket to be. Take a measurement and measure from your armpit to where you want your pocket to be. I think an average is like 12 or 13 inches. It all depends on what you want, or how low you want your pocket or how high you want your pocket. So I did put a notch there, and I'm going to put my pocket where I want that pocket to start from. I've already marked mine from my armpit. I think I did a 13 or 14. I can't remember here, but I think I did a 13. So I'm going to go ahead and place the pocket on it with the right side of the pocket facing the right side of the fabric. Remember that. Right side of a pocket is going to face the right side of the fabric. Align the notches. So you do this for all the 4 sides, the front, bodice, and the back bodice of the maxi. So once you're done, you're going to just iron it and flip it aside, just like I did here. You're going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance to add the pockets in. So you're going to sew it with 1/4 inch. So when you're done, turn it and iron it down. So I have gone ahead and I have added the pocket to all the 4 sides of the bodice. Then I'm going to join the side seam of the bodice. So grab your front bodice and your back bodice and align them together like I'm doing here. If you have a pin, also you can pin them along. Okay, so when you get to the pocket area, you're going to align the pockets too on top of each other. Like that. Then if you have a pin, make sure you just pin everything all together. I usually just pin around the pockets, so it will be easy for me to have it all not shifting up and down. Then you go ahead and pin all the way down to the hem. Before we take it to the machine, I'm just going to explain something here at the pocket area. So you're going to sew with half an inch seam allowance. When you get to like an inch or half an inch into the pocket, you're going to come out on the pocket like that. You pivot and you keep going all the way around. Then you're going to do the same thing when you get to like half an inch before the end of the pocket. You pivot and you continue sewing down with half an inch seam allowance. I hope I'm able to explain this place properly. So I have gone ahead and I have sewn with half an inch seam allowance, and I've also finished the edges of the seam, and there is a pocket area. I've also finished the edges of the pocket too, and here is what it looks like. And I did the same thing to the other side of the pocket. So now we're going to go ahead and add the facing to the armhole. And here is what we are going to do. So when we're done with the armhole, we're going to do the neck too. So the same thing that we did to the armhole is what we're going to do to the neck. Grab your facing, which is 1 inch wide. So open up your armhole, and here is what we're going to do. You're going to fold your facing with right side out like that. You're just folding it into two. Then you're going to attach that to the right side of your bodice by the armhole. Each edges are aligning to each other. So I'm going to grab a pin and I'm going to pin out the edges together. Remember, the facing is unfold with the right side out. So I'm pinning the edge of the facing to the edge of the armhole, aligning each together, like so. And the facing is on the right side of the bodice. So go ahead and align the whole armhole, both the two armholes, and also align the front and the back neck. So here is what it looks like after I just got done attaching it and pinning it down. So I'm going to go to the machine and I'm going to sew it with an edge stitch, so which is going to be like 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to do the same with the neck too. Here, what another thing that you can do is, if you have a serger, instead of you just sewing it, just use your serger or interlock to just sew them together, because that's what I did. I'm sorry, my camera is not focusing here and it's so annoying. I got to find out after the video that my camera wasn't focusing properly. I just use an interlock to add the facing to the bodice. So after you're done with that, you're going to turn it to the right side. I'm sorry, my camera is not really focusing here, and I'm sorry that I can't really show you a closer look of what it looks like after I got done adding the facing to the bodice, neck, and the armhole. turn it to the right side, and you're going to do an edge stitching on top. So I'm just using the pin to hold on the seam of the facing together. So it's going to be like at the back when I turn that facing up. Because if I'm not careful, I won't be able to sew properly on top of it. So I'm using the pin to hold the seam on to the facing. When I'm top stitching it, it will kind of be aligned properly. I have done top stitching here, and I'm not sure if you're seeing it properly because I'm using a red stitch. And I'm sorry that my video focus is not really catching it. We're just going to go ahead after we're done to join the shoulder and also to hem at a 1-inch hem allowance to the dress. I already finished the edges of the fabric, so I have gone ahead and I have joined the shoulders. And what I did is I also went around and I stitch around like a triangle around the seam, so just to hold down the seam down. It's not really showing properly here. So here is a closer look of the after sewing, since I noticed the focus wasn't really focusing when I was doing the tutorial. So here's what it looks like, the top, I mean the neck and the hamhole. So that's the top stitch that I did. So when I got done adding the facing to the bodice, I turned the seam upward and I use a pin to hold it down. So when I'm top stitching it, it's going to be catching the seam at the same time. I hope this is a better look at it. So here is also the shoulder. So when I got done joining it together, I also sew around it. And here is what it looks like after I sew around it. I hope this gives you a better look of what it looks like. And that is the hem too. I hope this helps. So that is the end of the video. If you have any question, please leave it down below. If you're new to this channel, thank you for coming. Don't forget to share and like this video. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you too. I will try as much as possible to respond to your comments. Bye for now and God bless.